thank you so much for being here. This is just a lot of people have been a part of this. A lot of people we love very much have been a part of this. Like everyone here who has been a part of this, thank you. And we're really excited to share not only this screening, but also just about our process of making this. For those of you who don't know, we got a grant for $500 from the Montague Cultural Council. Yeah, but it was originally just a joke. So it didn't seem like a joke that would become anything real until suddenly we had $500. And that was because Liz basically just was like, we have to apply for the grant. And then we got it, and then enter Nico. And we made something together. So I guess I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. We should all introduce ourselves. Sorry. I've never done this before. I am Alexis. I directed Customers from Hell, helped produce it, helped edit it, and collected stories about it.
I'm Nico. I was roped in by Alexis to this beautiful series of events that led to the project you're about to see. But I helped with writing and wrangling and set stuff.
The most amazing set manager also on the day of the Nico held it down. I'm Liz.
And I got brought onto the project originally. Alexis and I sort of talked about co-producing, and I did a lot of photography, organizing work, and then helped edit. And yeah, producer is probably the best word to getting from point A to point B. There aren't a lot of people who would bring me a really good idea and then not tell you to apply for a grant. So I think that this was like a really good choice to sort of push for. And it's so exciting to see so many people here. Because we shot in August of last year. So this is like a full, in under a year we've turned this thing around and we're here to share it with you.
I'm Casey. I did costumes on Customers from Hell with a team of 2 other people. River is maybe me, I don't know if you did it. And provided some artwork that's in the background. First thing is I'm just going to talk a little bit about the concept and where it came from, and share with you. As you know, like, this is all based on true stories, so I've prepared a few of those stories for you to listen to before the episode. And then we'll watch the episode, and then we'll see some behind the scenes, little slideshow, and then Casey is going to help moderate a little Q&A. So we're really excited about just what's possible with community television, and really are hoping that maybe something you see here today inspires some of you to make some wacky shit with your friends. I don't know. And it doesn't all have to be wacky, you know? It could also be really, really, really serious, or sad and important, and all of the things are important. Okay. Cool. So, concept. Started with an inside joke with my friend Tyler, who is not here right now. Tyler is in the West Coast. And me and Tyler lived together about 10 years ago, and we were both working some cafe jobs. and just living together. And one day Tyler had a really, really bad day at work, and they told me some stories. And they said it literally felt like they just came out of a portal to torture me. And I was like, well, what if that was real? And at the time with our friend Cody, we also had been envisioning like some kind of television channel that we would orchestrate together, and we had a bunch of ideas and we would just mostly laugh and talk about it. But Customers from Hell was a segment on this imaginary channel where every week there would be something to shame someone who came in and treated a customer service worker badly. And the idea was that the person who experienced it would reenact the moment, and it could be some kind of catharsis, and they would come out and be able to sort of just reenact it, publicly shame the person a little bit. And it was just a joke, but something that kind of stuck in my mind, and I told Liz about it. As I've already said, we got the money, we had to make it happen. So I started the process of collecting stories, and mostly just collected those stories from friends, but also friends of friends. And then once we had some stories, me and Nico looked at them together. We tried to construct some kind of narrative, envision, how are we going to turn this into a script? And I just want everyone to know that every single thing that happens in Customers from Hell is directly from a story. I didn't make anything up. So is there anything else to say about it? All right, I guess one other thing is that the only requirement of being in the show was that you had customer service experience. And some of the people who are acting, their stories were shared, and you will see them. And now let's listen to some stories. The first one is from our friend Ruth, who was the first story told. About someone who ended up becoming the Jingle Lady. The second one is from a neighbor and a friend named Jude. And the third one is from Margaret. Margaret ended up playing a character named Angry Benjamin Franklin, who you will see. Ruth ended up playing a character called Fake Italian. That is the person that Margaret will be describing in her story. Yes.
So I worked at Premier, bougie and not all that good, but quite expensive farm store.
Did you work in a specific department?
Yeah, I was a cashier.
Great.
Which means that I interfaced with all of the people who go to many of whom are like people who have the wealth and the life experience to still think that the Kennedys were too liberal. There was this customer who came through my line one day, and what you have to do is you have to ask if they have a member number, because they have a store membership program. I was like, yeah, and the number is just your phone number. And I was like, what's your phone number? And she was like, oh, I haven't gotten you before. Are you new here? And I was like, yeah, I guess. And she was like, I'm going to do this just for you. I like to do this with everyone here just so that, just make sure that they remember. It's 625-830-8747. And I was like, what? And she was like, 625803857. And I was like, I put it in. She said, yeah, I sing it to you all so that you can remember it. Like it's a fun rhyme. And that way I don't have to say it. And immediately I was like seething. And I saw this happen. Like she did this with my other coworkers, where she'd pull up and she'd start singing, and they would go like, "Yep, it's this phone number, And I had asked them about it, and I was like, doesn't that feel weird or like degrading? And they're like, yeah, it's just who she is, like she comes here a lot, and she does this with me a couple more times, and I don't remember the phone number until one time I see her coming in line, and I'm like, okay, I've had enough. My line is clear, she's aiming for me, and she comes up, and I'm ringing up her order. And it's, busy. I was working there in, the fall, season, which means, prime apple picking, fucking Thanksgiving, people spending, hundreds of dollars on Thanksgiving and Christmas groceries and shit. She, I ring her all up entirely. And I turn to her and I say, what's your membership number? And she goes, 625378748. And I go, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Could you repeat that for me? And she goes, 635873862. I say, I'm sorry, there's the background noise in here, it's really busy. Could you say that one more time? And she goes, 625873250. And I go, sorry, I don't know what's happening. I'm spacing out today. Can you please, repeat your phone number for me? And she goes, 625873850. And I made her repeat it over and over again until she was saying it in a clear, loud voice, pleading with me with every digit, just trying to get me to understand her phone number. And I say, oh, cool, thank you, it went through. Have a good day. And she never did that shit with me again.
Oh my God.
That's what you get for trying to Pavlovian fucking condition me at my minimum wage job.
So I used to work at this coffee shop where at their old location it was a normal coffee shop, but I got moved to their new location where I was working alone, and it was below a sort of high rise where rich people live, and it was in the bottom floor. So the only people that went there were rich people or guys having business meetings. It was a lot of suits, yeah. And so there was this one day where I was working, and this guy in a suit came up to me and was looking at me he was completely disgusted with me the whole time. And I was like, what is his fucking problem? And the whole time he just looked so disturbed by me. I made his cappuccino or whatever, rang him up, and he didn't tip, of course. And then I was like, wow, is it because I'm gay? What's his problem? And I went in the back, and I looked in the reflection of one of the appliances we had, and I just had a massive spider on my face, on my glasses. And I was like, oh my God, because he didn't tell me. He looked like it was, like I had put it there, like his face was like as if I wanted it there. And then like he didn't even like pity tip. It was crazy. So that's my story.
I remember you telling a story about a guy who like pretended to speak Italian, but wasn't speaking Italian.
Truly the worst. Like that is the worst. So it was this like older guy who was there with his two like youngish daughters, or even grandchild. Anyways, no, it was his daughters. But like he like approached and like was just speaking Italian at me, but like it was definitely like, I mean, I don't speak Italian.
What would
like,
be your best impression?
Like buongiorno, just like Italian 101.
Just like with an English accent.
Yes, exactly. But like incessantly, and then like trying to engage me in a conversation. I was like, "What can I get for you, sir?" And he just kept like saying like a greeting or something, like trying to get me to respond. And I was like, "Can I get you something?" And then he said something in Italian, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying. And he repeated it in Italian, and his daughters were like, Dad, she doesn't know what you're saying. Like, can you just speak English? Yeah. And like, I was just like I was like truly like, this is, like I was about to lose it. I was just like, you need to, and it was like a busy day. So there's just a line behind him, and this man will not just say 2 words in English to me. Like, and maybe I, like, because I think I knew what he was saying but I was just, at this point, I was like, can you just tell me what you'd like? Like, what can I get for you?
I can't.
Cappuccino, and I'm like, God, just say, like, whatever.
I like can't believe that happened. Like I think that's what I love about like stories like this, is that they just sound made up.
Yes.
And that's also a challenge of like trying to transform it into any kind of like workable script, is that you have to choose ones that don't seem entirely just like pulled out from nowhere. Or like why I guess I'm committing to them all being true.
Yes.
Because if I make things up, then there's like that thing of like, you've invented something that people will like, who haven't worked those jobs, will just think it's all like hyperbole.
Exactly.
And I think like that's why I'm like, this has to all actually be true interactions, otherwise people won't believe that this is how it is.
Truly.
Also, Margaret told me that story a lot of times, and to be clear, this was just a guy doing a bit. Like, he was just doing a bit to be annoying.
And wasn't he not actually even speaking Italian? He was just sort of saying things in a fake Italian accent?
Yes, he was just messing with my friend, basically. Anyway, so if you all feel ready, we're gonna watch this.
Don't forget to clock in.
Sorry, late to the party.
Don't worry, we've been ready for hours. Well?
They're gonna eat this one alive. Come over here at the register, honey.
cappuccino.
A cappuccino?
Yes, a cappuccino.
Right, sorry. That will be $3.70.
There you are.
Well, I'll be damned.
Ooh, I haven't gotten you before. Are you new here?
Yeah. Today's my first day. So what can I do for you?
Well, first, you'll need my discount number. I'm a favorite.
There. Now you just punch in her number.
Here, I'm going to do this for you. You know, I like to do this with everyone here, just so they can remember it. It's 8762547
Sorry. Could you, what was that again?
8762547 I sing it for you all so that you can remember it. It's fun. And that way, I don't have to say it every time I come in. You understand. Now, a cafe au lait, extra milk, skim please.
Did she actually always do that?
Oh, yep. She's a regular.
Does it ever, bother you?
Not really. It's just who she is.
How do you do?
I'm great. How are you today?
You know, I can't complain. You new here?
Yeah, it's my first day.
I see. You know, I imagine they probably didn't tell you exactly what to expect.
They're working, Clyde.
So what can I get for you today?
You know what? Do me a favor. Tell me a bit about you, Charlie. What do you do?
They're working, Clyde!
I know it, all right? Take a coffee.
Thank you. So what do you do?
Well, I used to be a reverend, but these days I'm not so sure what I'm doing.
I'm afraid I need a croissant.
You'll need to wait in line, ma'am.
You mean I have to wait with the common people?
Do you need something? Sorry, how can I help you today?
Hi, how are you today? Good. Thank you so much for being here. I just want a latte.
That'll be $3.70.
Thank you so much. Sorry. Thank you.
Hey, pal. Looks like your carafe could use a prostate exam.
You remember me?
Yeah?
Well, no need to slow the line. I'll have a cafe au lait, extra milk, skim please. And what are we forgetting?
Right, sorry,
8762547-1. You'll remember next time.
Buongiorno.
Hi.
Strego un tempo, bambina.
Dad, they don't understand. Just speak English.
Sono il re piccolino. Strego y devi un adagio y reggaeton, un arreglo.
I'm sorry. What would you like?
Son il re piccolino y un digestivo partigiano bella ciao.
Dad, just speak English.
Un caffè.
Cappuccino?
Well, I'll be damned.
How can I help you?
I'll have an Americano with an extra shot. Here, just take this. I've done my budget for the year, and sadly I cannot afford to tip. Ugh. Disgusting.
You know what I want.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hi. I just wanted to let you know that your toilet is clogged.
What?
Like, the toilet in y'all's bathroom is clogged.
I'm sorry, is this a prank or something?
No, sorry. I'm just here now and I accidentally clogged your toilet. I'm sorry.
You're here now?
Yeah. I just didn't know what to do. Yes, you should probably do something about that. Thanks so much. I'm so sorry. I'll leave now.
Still slow, are we? 8762547-1.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
8762547-1.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just so loud in here. Could you say that one more time?
8762547-1.
I don't know what's happening. I'm just really spacing out today. Could you repeat that once more?
8762547-1. 876254071.
We don't take pennies, sir.
It's legal tender!
like to work on this thing. And thank you so much for watching it.
Thank you. Yep. Yes, let's do it. So when Alexis brought this idea to me, the first thing that we had to figure out was how we were going to do a portal. And we did a bunch of tests with green screen. There's like a lot of clips in my Google Drive of Alexis jumping through like a cardboard kind of circle. And then Natalie, who is here.
Shout out to Natalie. Sadly not pictured, but
yes, I think maybe is later on. But this is the process of the portal. It was paper mache, right? And we put it on green paper. It was a green screen system, obviously, and we put it on these green poles that lifted over. So Dan and Rachel were able to like lift it through people, so they were able to actually come out of it. It seems like it would be simple, but it took a lot of, we had to make a lot of tries. And the next one will be also amazing. There it is in my face. More process.
These are some friends who helped us. A lot of friends helped make the set. Sunny, Alice made the cash register and the espresso machine. Ace made the coffee maker. Simon and Naomi made the clock and the carafe. Karo helped us with assembling things. Emma and Sydney helped us with spray painting things. It was really, I didn't think any of it would be possible, but I think sometimes like having limited energy necessitates collaboration in a really beautiful way. This is more friends painting. That's Nellie in the background painting. And we shot it at Athol Orange Community Television, where it was folks.
Yes, in Athol, Massachusetts. This is the monitor we had. We were there for 13 hours?
13 hours.
We
All
shot
one
the,
day.
We
Yeah.
shot the whole thing in one day.
Until like what, 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I locked the place at 1:30. But it was. What would you like to say about?
I couldn't feel my legs or move them after.
Yeah.
But all of the equipment was free through community television.
Yeah.
There's some more. I think that's Liz.
No, I think that's Rachel. Oh no, that is me.
There's the portal on the big screen. There's Dan helping assemble everything. Dan was like the woodworker who made the counters possible, made the walls go up. We went to Hampshire. Shout out to Dan. Yeah. This is Yara doing makeup. They are my brother. They live in LA, and they flew out for this. They did an amazing job.
Yes, because the makeup and hair for this was a humongous lift. And Yara, after because we shot all of the studio stuff, but on the river we actually shot the day after, so it was actually separate. But Yara had to do all of these makeups twice in full for two different. So it was, it was amazing. And the old man makeup, I never thought that something could be so beautiful. Pull off for us,
And this is just, a little behind the scenes of what it looks like. Everything was made out of cardboard except the wood and the squishy kids' floor. Just a little cute moment. Cute little moment. That's Rachel, who helps also with cameras. And that's our last side. This is kind of what it was like. It was summertime. We were hanging out. It was my 30th birthday. Yeah, and I think there's probably a lot more I wanted to say, but maybe we could open it up. We'll get there. If anyone has any questions about any of it, we have a microphone. Sarah, if you wanna... Yep, Sarah can come bring the microphone to you if you need it, or you can come up and ask a question.
Are the plans for the next episode already in the works?
They're already there. That's amazing. So episode 2 is in our future. It is, we applied for and received this. But we applied for and we were accepted for a grant for the second episode from Northampton Open Media, which is the Northampton Public Access Station, which I think we got a couple of pieces of equipment for this, but also Alexis and I worked with them. They're really cool guys over there. If you live in Northampton and you're not a member of NOM, go check it out. But yeah, so we're seeking inspiration. Is the intention that I'm bringing to you for future episodes.
Yeah, and if anyone has a story that they would like to share, if anyone wants to be involved at all, there's cards up front, and everyone should take one also if you just want a little card.
It has our email on it.
Yeah, so send stories, send customer service stories to the email on the card.
Or email us and find a time, we can find a time to come and do a more sort of interview, get to the root of it, and do, because something about the process was, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but the audio creation of this, the audio recording of stories, and the way that we're sort of getting at what is a pretty beefy topic, what it's like to be at your job. We're coaching with both care as well as I don't know, wanting to really laugh and take things less seriously. But I think, yeah, so if watching this makes you think, oh my gosh, something happened to me that would be amazing if it were, if a professional makeup artist put together a character of this situation that happened to me, email us and come meet with us and we'll talk through it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because this was a joke, so it almost feels like a joke that it's happening. There's so many things that need to happen right now, and this sort of in a way, I'm disabled, I'm immunocompromised. In my mind, before Customers from Hell, I did not think that it would be possible to make things with my friends. For a whole bunch of reasons. And I think that, in a way, the most special thing about Customers from Hell for me has been learning about how we work together, how we want to make things together. It sort of felt like how kids learn things on a playground, that they can apply to other situations. It feels kind of just practicing how to sort of find costumes in the backs of closets from other people and how to be excited about things together. What does that look like? Or, and then also how do we do it in a way that is COVID safe for supporting each other and what does that look like and how do we practice that? That's been the most special thing about it to me.
Can we break down that a little bit more? Talk about what that process was, making Customers from Hell accessible to you and to many members of the crew and cast who are also disabled.
Sure. I don't know.
Just nuts and bolts, how did we do it?
Right. We had auditions where we checked in. I called everyone and asked everyone about if they had access to masks, if they had access to tests, if they would feel good about masking before the shoot because we were going to be unmasked together. People were really great and told people like where to get things if they needed it. And then the day of, we had friends who were responsible for kind of being on top of tests and asked everyone, what they needed. I don't know if you guys want to add to it.
We tested people as they came in.
Yeah,
we
we
had
had a little booth when people came in. We had staggered arrival times. Yeah, it was great. No one got sick. It was really lovely.
And yeah, no,
Which was just a thing we had to think about because it was a lot of us who were there needed to think about that.
Yeah.
So it was really sweet that we were able to make it work and make it happen.
And like speaking as a member of the like crew doing costumes, for me it was like such a dream come true. Similar to you, like prior to this experience, I'm also immunocompromised and disabled, and kind of in the wake of COVID, the ongoing pandemic, our worlds as immunocompromised people got so small, and I felt like the possibilities were really closing in on us of like how can we like make art, how can we participate in community, how can we like have a presence in the world. And being part of this for me was like such a like joyful experience and like really fed me in like important ways, and I think kind of like catalyzed me wanting to make more things and do things in my own projects. And I think that's like, yeah, the subject and like the delivery is goofy and that's beautiful and wonderful, and the way that we did it, the like intention behind it is like deeply serious, and like you said, it like taught us how to do things that like we need to learn how to do together, like in these circumstances that we're in the world. Just like kind of create our own little like mini public health department where we like learn how to test our friends and keep each other safe, so that we can do fun shit too, like not just heavy shit. Yeah.
First of all, thank you for talking about the process and the safety involved. I think that's beautiful, and it's important to remind our community that we can include everyone and things like this can be safe for everybody. So I love that. Thank you for speaking to that. And I'm also curious about a prop choice. I loved the cigarettes that the staff were smoking, and I just wanted to know what was the inspiration for that?
I think that was Liz's idea.
Well, I think the thing about, well, we have Sheila, and Sheila comes in part from my friend Megan says that every restaurant has a Sheila. And Sheila almost certainly smokes cigarettes, and Sheila almost certainly is meaner than anyone you've ever met in your life, but also loves you more than, like, I don't know, well, would take care of you if you got hit by a car or something like that. I don't know. So we were thinking of, I never worked in cafes, I always worked in restaurants, so I sort of brought a lot of that, and it just didn't make any sense. It wouldn't have made any sense to me if they weren't so stressed that they weren't, chain smoking. And, you can't smoke in that. It created this sort of lore thing where like, oh, Tilly's is a place where you're still allowed to smoke inside. And also you're allowed to smoke inside if you're working. And she has this pack of cigarettes and everything. I don't know what the inspiration was besides just truth.
I just remember we were talking about like, well, who's working? Like, who are they? Because we have all these stories to go off of, but like, who are the workers? And Liz was like, there's got to be a Sheila. And I was like, what? Who's Sheila? And then people in the costume department, I think Naomi and River made the Mama Sickies.
Yes.
It says Mama Sickies on it. And they were all fake fake cigarettes.
And I think it was like kind of impromptu. Like it just happened the day of, we had extra cardboard and time. And we were like, oh, yeah, she like needs a box of cigarettes. That's like clearly an important prop.
Like she can't just pull them out of her pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Thank you. This is all very beautiful, and it seems it all went together so smoothly and carefree. Can you tell me about anything that went horribly wrong?
That's Dan the Builder, everybody. Oh my gosh, so much went horribly wrong. Where do we even start?
I mean, it's
Okay, well, first of all, it's dubbed.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's no sound there that wasn't created from scratch?
Oh, no. The fake Italian is not dubbed.
Somehow Ruth was protected from the audio issues. For some reason, Ruth was protected.
Just feels wrong.
Yeah, the audio, we had some audio issues, and Simon was the one who did the hard work of like dubbing everybody, setting up a booth, and doing Foley art. It was amazing. Simon is really amazing.
I would say, I think it fits really well.
Yeah.
I really like, there's parts where it's like the fact that, I don't know, it is goofy and it's absurdist, and that's the purpose of it, but we're trying to keep people kind of present in a way where a little bit of
something being a little off.
A little discomfort, keep you on your toes for all the other things that aren't quite right.
So it worked out, but it was not intentional.
Yeah. And I think that's like an important detail too, is just like so much of this project is people doing things kind of for the first time, or doing things that have been like hobbies, and then applying that to like a more sort of professional experience. And of course there are hiccups, and there were moments where like when we realized that the audio was messed up, it was like, oh my god, like is this just the end of this project? Like what do we do now? And me and Alexis are housemates, and there were like many nights where we were just like sitting in the kitchen being like, how do we salvage this? Like what do we do? And I just like felt like my role was like kind of just talking Alexis off the edge a little bit, and just being like, it is salvageable, I promise. I don't know how, like I'm not the audio guy, but we know audio guys. One of them happens to live below us, Simon. And so much of, I feel like what was also beautiful about the project was just like, we have an amazing community of really talented people with really fucking weird hobbies and like specialties. And Alexis and all of you like did an amazing job of just like bringing people in. Like there was so much generosity, I feel like, from you guys about just like inviting people into the project and inviting people to bring the thing that they specifically love to do. Like for me, being the costume person, like that's been like my dream since I was like probably like, I don't know, 10 years old, and this was the first time I got to do it, and like I literally had the time of my life. And I know that I'm so even those hiccup moments that were just like another invitation to bring somebody else in, and just to make the show even weirder and cooler and like more layered.
Just to say, I was watching Clerks this morning, and they do frequently have to dub in Clerks because he gets the lines wrong. So this is
we're standing on the shoulders of giants.
I also want to say one thing that went horribly wrong, just to wrap up your question, is that we had this spider.
That was rough.
And it was rough because actually the spider died. Yeah, it was really sad. R.I.P. that spider. Ben did an amazing job bringing the spider from home. Ben brought the spider. And then we accidentally crushed the spider. So that was horribly wrong.
But we found another one. So.
Okay, so obviously, I mean, y'all put in so much legwork, but I'm curious about how Apple Orange TV managed to sort of meet the needs that were things you couldn't cover on your own.
Well, I had just started working there. At this point, I'm still there. It's like maybe 20 to 30 hours a week. And I was not very familiar with them, so this was kind of a big thing to bring them immediately and be like, by the way, people bring me projects and I say yes, and then we have, then I have gigantic things in front of me to do, and you are now implicated. So, but they were very welcoming. They let us use the space. They let us in. They're the biggest. Which, I haven't been to Granby and you can compare, but they're the biggest public access station I've worked at. And they have a gigantic studio space with green screen, green floor. We had to do, because we were doing special effects, so we needed something pretty serious. And even though, we had sort of there were some technical hiccups, I think it worked out really well. I think that we were housed there, and we all got to hang out there. We got to sit in the parking lot and got to feel like we were kind of, in charge of the castle a little bit for 12 hours. And also, because I'm on the board of the Montague Community Television station, which if you live in Montague, I'm going to continue plugging every public access station. If you live in Montague, you should be involved with. And they were also collaborative and helpful and our pals through this process too. Yeah.
Any other questions? Over here. Oh, one more question.
Hey, that was really great. It was really fun to watch. I'm just doing the math of you got a $500 grant. However many hours to film, there was 30 people involved, and so you guys all walked away with $3 in your pocket from this, right? No, I'm kidding. Probably we're in the negative. But can you talk a little bit about how we make art and projects in a way that is sustainable to us energetically, but also that we can kind of also take care of our rent that month, and what some of the resources are that might be out there to support people in that. It sounds like somebody on the stage might know a little bit about that.
I can talk about costumes for one thing. I think I spent $12 on the costumes total. Most of the items were things that basically me and Alexis went through each of the characters, and they gave me kind of a little bit of a description of in their head what these characters are like, and then I kind of ran with that and would be like, hey, what do you think about going in this direction with this person? And from there, I reached out to the cast to see if they had any of the pieces that we needed just to source from our people originally. And then anything they didn't have, I then asked a bigger group of community. We're queer, so a lot of our friends love costumes. And finding things like wigs and really over-the-top little items was actually very easy. And then the few things that weren't sourced that way, there are some things that I found at the Finders Collective Free Store, which is a great resource just for everything in your life. After shooting, I just brought the things back. So those are now in the community, and somebody is wearing something that was in the show. And then I think there were just a few items that I had to go to the thrift store and buy. And other than that, it was just resourcing from the people in our community. It was great. And then it's fun for people to be able to come and watch it and be like, oh, that's my wig, or whatever.
I feel like it's really hard to have the energy, and I think time is the thing the thing that feels the most limited sometimes. I think for this, what made it possible was having $500. Everything was made out of cardboard that was dumpstered in Northampton. Shout out to Becky Cardboard. I don't know who she is, but she, like, if she wasn't there, this set wouldn't have existed. And but like beyond that, like just having the time, I think it really helped how many people were involved. Like, and also helped like to like think about what might someone be excited to do, not just like turning it into another job, but just kind of being like, hey, what's something you might be excited to do, and then also in that, how much time might you be able to do that, and just there being no wrong answer. I think made it more possible. But yeah, I mean, we shot in August. Now it's done almost a year later. Things like do move slow, and we weren't able to pay any of the cast members or the crew, which if anyone is able to tip, there's a tip jar, which we would give to everyone involved. And also a portion of that we wanted to give to the Gonzalez family, which is a documented family in Northampton that some friends have been supporting for a few years. They're trying to get asylum. So if anyone is able to put some tips in the tip jar, that's where that money would go. But yeah, it's hard to make things with limited funds and also limited energy, limited like physical capacity. But I think for me, this project helps it feel a little bit more possible than it did before, and that was really special. But yeah, don't want to give you some like rosy answer without being real about like it's limited. It's hard to find time. Yeah. But if you ever want to make something together, Crystal, I would love to make something.
Bosses from hell, coworkers from hell.
Yeah, because the customers are the problem.
Full series.
Yeah. I want to say something about that, but I don't really have any rosy answers either. I mean, I think that this was a, I mean, you know, you see the credits up there, like we had between 30 and 40 people working on this. I don't think, I don't want to like say it because we commissioned some props that's really like people who got paid, you know, and then the rest was the set, which is a giant amount. It takes a lot of work, and it takes, wood is really, really expensive, I don't know if you've heard, but I think when I look at a project like this, and you know, sort of balancing it against what it's like to live in the United States, where I think that it's really hard to, next to impossible to create any kind of career being an artist unless you're established and you're making something for someone who already has a lot of money. So projects like this are literally for you guys. Like this is like we made this so that we can get, I have no idea how many people are here, over, you know, the same amount and more to the Shea, to see it, to tell their friends about it, to tell us their stories to make the next one, to get us from a $500 grant to a $1,500 grant, for us to consider like, okay, so who can we pay in this next one? Who can we say, you know, you don't have to work entirely for free for this, or like, what level of involvement can you do, will you do, are you interested in, and maybe we won't hear you until, until the 4th episode, and then you can, maybe we'll have money to pay you for the 4th episode, but it's an incredible toss-up, and like, the third, I didn't get paid to do it, and we paid $50 to my job to be there to do it, and then I worked 13 hours, like I don't know if you guys ever check the pedometer on your phone, but I had walked like 15,000 steps during our shooting day, but I fucking love that. Like I love that. We made a show. We got to show. job. It's a job that we're making for each other, and it's really, really hard. And it's, you know, those hiccup moments are awful because it's like, God, can we, like, we are putting so much time in it. Can it just work? But the fact that you are all here makes me feel like this project could lift itself up and be able to be lucrative, at the very least, to make more of itself. And that would be so sick. So, you know, and yeah, don't quit your day job for Customers from Hell. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels exciting to think about like treating it as a way that we can find some play and find some lightness together.
Can I ask just one question about, like, for leaving people with kind of a sense of how you guys made this happen? Just like, what is the process of applying for a grant? Like, just for this kind of grant, what did you guys propose? And then also, like, how this whole show and stuff is going to later be distributed amongst the community access channels and how that happens.
Yeah, you can find grants. I think it's the Mass Cultural Council website, and apply there. And then it will be online, as well as recording this evening will be online. And it will be airing on Montague Community Television, which has a video page, and also on Apple Orange TV. And if anyone has any like direct questions about the process of writing the grant or how we did it, you can always email us, and happy to like share anything about that. Yeah. Does anyone have any more questions, or did we do this thing?
I think we did it.
I think we did it.